Hi, I'm Kadeen Smith for the United Nations. I'm joined by Bianca, Director of the Bureau of Innovation here in Aruba. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Today we're going to be discussing the Bureau's involvement in Aruba's Center of Excellence for Sustainable Development for Small Island Developing States. So Bianca, can you share a bit about what is the Bureau of Innovation and some of the initiatives that it undertakes?
Absolutely, thank you. Well, actually, the Bureau of Innovation forms part of the Ministry of General Affairs, Sustainable Development, Innovation and Science of Aruba. And that actually came together after the second term of the Prime Minister in 2013. In 2014, the Bureau of Innovation was established, and we are focusing indeed on sustainable development, innovation and science. And actually we focus on three themes within innovation: technological, social and economic innovation, within the vision of Aruba to become a sustainable society.
So the Center of Excellence was launched by the government of Aruba in partnership with the United Nations Development Program, but there were also a number of key actors that played a significant role in this Center of Excellence. What is the role of the Bureau of Innovation in particular?
Actually, we have a couple. First of all, we are advisor to the project board of the Center of Excellence here in Aruba. But we also, for example, created the platform that is being used right now, sustainablecities.org.
Yes.
We built it over here. Like I mentioned, we are focusing also on technological innovation. So we have, for example, an IT manager here in the Bureau of Innovation, and he created the platform. As well as thinking strategically on what kind of knowledge projects or products actually can we make to compile with the Sustainable Development Goals. So we have multiple roles in helping or advising the Center of Excellence.
Okay, great. And you mentioned the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. How do you see, in your opinion, the Center of Excellence helping SIDS achieve these Sustainable Development Goals?
I think what actually the Center of Excellence is doing is great for SIDS and very valuable, very necessary as well. Being a small island ourselves, we have a lot of challenges, of course. And having the dot on the horizon to become a sustainable society like we have in Aruba is very unique, actually. And innovation, of course, is one of the most important things to thrive such a vision. Having said that, looking at what the Center of Excellence is doing for SIDS is, first of all, of course, creating such a platform where people can share their ideas, their concepts, things that they created. And what you see happening is that I think most of the SIDS, they all have their own USPs, unique selling points and strengths. And what the Center of Excellence is doing with the platform is actually sharing knowledge between all those different SIDS. So it is very important, absolutely.
Yes, and of course we know that innovation would play a part in each of the 17 SDGs, but in particular SDG 9, which speaks to industry, innovation and infrastructure, and then SDG 17, which speaks to partnerships for the goals. How does the Bureau sort of support the achievement of these two goals in particular?
Yeah, well, you know, for us in Aruba, it's a little bit different because being part of the Ministry of General Affairs, like I mentioned before, the Prime Minister specifically chose to have innovation within every single sector. And like I said, having the vision, it is important to have innovation. So if I would say it for Aruba, indeed 9 is important, but also 17 is important because you cannot have innovation if there are no partners. And actually for the Bureau of Innovation itself, we started with the triple helix way of working. It's one of our 2 basic principles. The first one is everything that we do has to come from a sustainable development perspective. And the second one is that everything that we do has to come from a triple helix way of working, which means that we combine public sector, private sector and knowledge centra together. So we work, for example, very closely with the University of Aruba on a lot of things, and of course also the Center of Excellence, because they are a knowledge platform itself. So for us, 17 is very important. It doesn't mean that it always comes from the local community, also internationally. We work with strategic partners to make sure that understanding that we are a small country, having that vision that we need strategic partners to move forward. And innovation, entrepreneurship also, number 8, if I'm not mistaken, economic growth, of course, is very important. So yes, I do feel that what we are doing with Bureau of Innovation is actually for every single SDG goal itself. But indeed, number 9 and 17 in particular.
Thank you. And what are some of the next steps for the Bureau? I mean, initiatives that you'll be launching in the near future, and in particular, how you'll support the COE going forward. What are the next steps?
What we try to do is we try to see what kind of developments are going on worldwide. How does that translate to Aruba? What kind of gaps do we still see here in our community to become eventually sustainable? And we have a lot of projects that we're doing ourselves. For example, TEDx Aruba, TED platform, a worldwide platform to share knowledge is one of the things that we created here in Aruba for TEDx Aruba itself. Yeah. But also we have a startup Aruba platform together with a public or private initiative here on the island called ATER. We set up startuparuba.com, an initiative where we try to foster startups here in Aruba. Yeah. Not only locally, but also internationally. So we actually dare startups to come to Aruba and to see what can happen over here. Being a living lab, like, you know, you can imagine that if we have so many people coming to Aruba, tourists coming to Aruba, and having that vision, you can expose yourself as a living lab where it all happens. Yeah. And that's what we also try to do with Startup Aruba platform, by bringing in startups, creative minds, young entrepreneurs, stimulate them and try to see what we can accomplish together. Going back to the Center of Excellence, that was your second question. How we try to help them is actually think in an innovative way, what else can we do to stimulate and share knowledge with other SIDs. And I think one of the main aspects is in it is, you know, like one of the quotes is, creativity is intelligence having fun. And I think that's very important. The fun factor should be in it, because then people really embrace change. Yes. And sustainable development is change. So it is important to focus on that as well. And that for us is, for example, social innovation, something that is very important, I think, to focus on, because if you really want to change things, you have to make sure that people understand why it is important for them to change. And you can come up with all kinds of creative aspects how to do that. And I love to sit down with the Center of Excellence, or actually we all do, to brainstorm and see what we can do to make people of the other islands aware of that there is a very big and huge platform for them available, that they only need to grasp it, take it and make it their own, and then they can go as well.
Okay, thank you. And I understand that here at the Bureau, careful consideration was given even to the location of your office and to the workspaces.
Correct.
So perhaps you can tell us a bit about the selection of the location, and then maybe we can take a look at some of the workspaces and how they foster innovation.
Yes, absolutely. Can I invite you to walk with me from the main street to here, so I can tell you what is going on?
Sure.
Great.
So Bianca, we're about 20 meters from your office in downtown Oranjestad.
Correct.
Can you tell us a bit about the location and why you chose this location?
Absolutely. Well, you know, actually talking about SDG number 9, where also infrastructure is part of it. Looking at downtown Oranjestad the last couple of years, it has been beautified, I think, great. You know, it's enormous. Well, there's actually just the tram passing by with a lot of tourists in it, as you can see. That's unique, of course. But what we see is, like you see now, Main Street is beautiful. But there are still some challenges over here. For example, there are some locations that are not as beautiful as of yet. And actually, this is why we specifically chose to have Bureau of Innovation downtown Oranjestad. Because we believe it is important to focus on creativity, entrepreneurship. And since a lot of things are going on in downtown Oranjestad, it is important to see, okay, what can we do actually? And well, as you can see, we are still busy with the building, but this is actually called the Vault. It is a location downtown Oranjestad where we have a shared office space, something like an incubator, and where we try to foster innovation, entrepreneurship, creativity in the best way possible. So not only Bureau of Innovation is located here, but also startups and other companies. And well, when we enter the location, I can show you
See a bit about the
what we're doing.
yeah?
Absolutely.
So Bianca, can you tell me a bit about what's happening in your workspace?
Yes, absolutely. Well, like you see right now, there are some people working over here. This is an open office, shared open office spaces actually. So not only the Bureau of Innovation is located over here, but also startups. And so we can foster innovation, creativity in the best way possible. And being located here downtown is a very, very cool actually. Actually also together with Arno and Franchel, sometimes they come over here of the Center of Excellence to brainstorm over here and see what we can do to help sustainable development goals grow, not only in Aruba but also to the other SIDs.
All right, thank you so much for being here with us and sharing with us a bit about the Bureau. For more information, you can visit the website at, would you like to share the website?
That's www.bi.aw, or you can also go to www.pmoaruba.com.
And of course, for more information on the work of the United Nations and other partners in the Caribbean, go to www.2030caribbean.org. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
To learn more about the Center of Excellence for Sustainable Development of Small Island Developing States, visit www.sustainablesids.org.